Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making the tutorial for this beautiful dress that I'm wearing. It's a colorful and beautiful one, but we are going to be going into the tutorial now without further ado. Alright, but if you've not subscribed to my channel before, please do so. Alright. Okay, so for this project, these are the materials you are going to need. I'm going to be playing with 5 colors. I just want the thing to be colorful. I want this gown to be very colorful. So I'm going to be using the lilac, blue, white, baby pink, and these beautiful green colors. All right, but you can use one color or just decide to use even more colors depending on what you want. All right, but this one I'm just going with 5 colors. And on this project I'm going to be working with a 4.5mm hook size. All right, then of course you need your scissors, very important. Then you need your measurement tape. Then you need some stitch markers, and then you need a tapestry needle to weave in your ends and join this gown together. All right, so without further ado, let us get into it. All right, so for this project, the measurement you are going to need is going to be your hips measurements. All right, around your hips. We are going to be working 2 panels on this gown. Okay, so I'm making this for myself and my hips measures 44, so I'm just going to be adding 4 or 5 inches to my own, but you can go ahead to add more inches if you want it bigger, or less inches if you want it tighter or smaller. All right, but me, I'm going to be adding 4 or 5 inches to the 48 that I get. All right, so since we are going to be working 2 panels, one of the panel is going to be getting half of 48, and half of 48 happens to be 24 inches. All right, so now I'm going to chain up 24 inches. Okay, when you make your chain, make sure you are making it in multiples of 5. All right, in multiples of 5, and when you get your chain, you will add 2 to it. All right, multiples of 5 and then 2 at the end. All right, so my own chain now, I'm going to chain up 102. That is what is going to give me my 24 inches. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you go ahead now to make your chains, and I'll come back to tell you what we are going to do next. Okay, so I now have my 102 foundation chain. So this is it. So like I told you, this one measures 24 inches because I'm going for 48 inches. All right, so for the row 1 now, what you're going to do after you get your 102 chains, if you're following my measurement, you are going to chain up 3. 1, 2, and 3. And on the 4th stitch, so what you do, you count the 3 stitches back, 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th stitch you go in with a double crochet. Okay, so this chain 3 now is going to serve as 1 double crochet. So now you have 2 double crochet on this chain. All right, so now you are going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and on the 3rd stitch you are going to go in there with 5 double crochets. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so now you are going to skip 4 chain stitch, and on the 5th stitch you are going to go in with 5 double crochet. All right, so count 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th stitch, which is here, make sure you are counting your stitches very well so you don't make any mistake. All right, so you go in with 5 double crochet inside that same stitch. 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so this is how we are looking. and you count another 4 chain stitch, and on the 5th stitch you're going in with 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and on this 5th stitch here now you're going in with another 5 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So for this row 1 now, that is exactly what you are just going to be doing. Okay. Excuse me. So you are going to start off the row with a chain 3, and on the 4th stitch you put in 1 double crochet. All right, and then you skip 2 stitches, and on the 3rd stitch you are going to put in 5 double crochets, and afterwards you skip another 4 stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th stitch you put in 5 double crochets. So for the entire row you are just going to skip 4 stitches, and on the 5th row and on the 5th stitch you put in 5 double crochets. So that is what you are going to do for the entire row, and I'll meet you here to show you how you are going to end it. All right. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of row 1. So this is how it's looking. So now I have 3 stitches here left. Okay, so you know in the beginning we put 2 here, then we skipped 2 of the chain stitches before we put 5 of the double crochets here. So now this 2 stitch that is left, this 3 stitches that is left here, you are going to be skipping these 2 stitches, and you are going to end with 2 double crochet on the very last stitch right here. So that's 1, and this is 2. Okay, so it is equal with the beginning. All right, so for the row 2 now you are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to turn your work to the other side. On this very stitch now, this very first stitch where you made the chain 3, you are going to go in with 1 double crochet right there. All right, to make it 2 double crochet, because like I told you, the chain 3 is going to be serving as 1 double crochet on there. Okay, so now you are going to skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3. You skip 3 stitches, then on the 4th stitch here you are going to put in 5 double crochet. Okay, because that 3 you just skipped now is going to take us to the middle of this previous 5 double crochet we made. All right, so that's 1, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5. So on the next one now, you are now going to skip 4 stitches. Okay, so remember we skipped 3 in the beginning, so the next one is going to be 4 stitches that you are going to be skipping. All right, please pay attention because this part is a little tricky. All right, so let me take it again. You see the beginning now, this first one we skip 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th stitch, that is what took us to the middle of the previous 5 double crochet. So now the next one to take us to this middle here, on the second one you are going to skip 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th stitch here, that is where you are going to be placing your 5 double crochet. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And on the next, you are going to skip 4 stitches again, and you put in 5 double crochet on the 5th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th stitch, you put in 5 double crochet on that same stitch. All right. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. So on this row now, that is exactly what you are going to continue doing. All right, until you get to the very end here. And when I get here, I'll come back to show you how we are going to end it to start the row 3. Okay. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the row 2, and this is how it's looking. Okay, I just want to show you how I end the row 2 here. All right, so now I've finished adding the 5 last double crochet on this part. So to end this row now, you are going to be skipping 3. Okay, so 1 2 3, and on this chain 3 we made, you are going to be going into the 3rd chain on top here. That is where you are going to put in your 2 double crochet to end. All right, so this is what you do. So to start on the row 3, you are just going to chain up 3, 1 2 and 3, and then you are going to turn your work to the other side. Okay, then on this very first stitch now, you are going to put 1 double crochet on that very stitch. All right, just like we did in the previous row. Okay, and then you are going to skip 3 stitches, 1 2 and 3, and on the 4th one, that is going to bring you to the middle of this previous double crochet, 5 double crochet now, is where you are going to now put in your 5 double crochet. So on that same stitch now, you are going to be working 5 double crochet, 3 4 and 5. All right, and then the next one now, you are going to be skipping 4. So you are just going to skip 4 now on the next one, 1 2 3 4, and on the 5th stitch is where you put your 5 double crochet, 2 3 4 and 5. So from here on out, you are going to be skipping 4 stitches, and on the 5th stitch is where you put your 5 double crochet. Okay, the reason why I'm taking my time to explain this is because I'm going to go off camera now and do the length that I want. All right, so it's just going to be the repetition of row 2. That is what you are going to do all through. All right, so I'm going to go make my own length now. I'm thinking of doing 30 inches for my length. I don't know how many inches you want to go for. I don't know if you want your gown longer or shorter, but that one is up to you. But this is just the pattern that you are going to follow for it all. Okay, so I'm going to go off camera now and complete my length, and I'll come back to show you what we are going to be doing next. All right. Okay, so I'm done putting in all of my rows, and I got the length that I want. You know, I told you earlier that I'm going for 30 inches, but I ended up putting in 32 inches because I want the color patterns to be exactly the same thing. Like I told you, I put 5 rows of each of the colors. So as you can see how I played with the colors. But like I said, yours doesn't have to be like this. You can either use 1 color, 2 colors, or as many as 100 colors if that's what you want. So for the 32 inches, I ended up putting 50 rows. All right, 50 rows, that's what I put to get the 32 inches. So the next step now is going to be running these parts with a single crochet. All right. All right, so I'm done putting in the single crochet all across the bottom of the gown, and I'm just going to tie it here now. So I'm going to chain up 1 and tie. So this is how it's looking. So the next step now is to create an identical panel just like this one. Like I told you, we are going to be working 2 panels. All right, so now I'm going to go off camera to create my own second panel, and when I'm done, I'll come back to show you how we are going to join both panels together. Okay, so I'm done with my second panel. I just want you to see the full length of how it's looking. I went ahead to actually add 2 more rows of the white because I want the white to be the base of the gown. You don't have to do that. I just wanted mine to have the white base. That's why I had to add those 2 rows. So we now have the 2 panels ready. So this is the second one. So now the next step is going to be joining both of them together. All right, so I'm going to take it to my table now and we are going to join both together. Okay, so for the joining process, you are going to need your measurement tape, and you are going to need some of the stitch markers. So just put them close. All right, so now for the neck area, you are going to be leaving out 11 inches. All right, so we have to measure 11 inches from here to here. So this is where the 11 inches is given me. So all I need to do now is mark it out and make sure the measurement is taking place on the very middle of the top, because you do not want one side to be bigger than the other side. Okay, so with this pattern now, it's actually easier to get that, because all you just need to do to get your middle here, you just count the clusters. Okay, so now if you count, leaving this 2 at the end, just count 1 2 3 4 5, and on the 6th one, the middle of the 6th one is where you're going to put your stitch marker. Then leaving this 2 out, 1 2 3 4 5, and on the 6th one, for this my own size, that is how I count it to know where 11 inches is. But your own, all you just need to do, take your measurement tape and make sure you measure out 11 inches, because I don't know how big or how small yours is. Okay, so you can actually go smaller with your own neck size depending on your size. That's why I always advise you take your own measurements to know what will work for you. The best thing even is to put it on your body and try it on to know if it is too big or too small. Then you make your own adjustments. But this size that I'm making right now, which is my size, I'm going to be taking out 11 inches. All right, so you just go ahead now to put a stitch marker on this end part already, just to make it firm when you want to join it together. All right, so put a stitch marker on both sides, just like this. All right, so we are set with the neck. So where you are going to be joining now, make sure when you put your stitch marker is on the 2 sides. Okay, so where you are going to be joining now is this part. All right, so you are going to leave out the 11 inches on your neck. All right, okay, so we are going to join the shoulder now. Then after that, we'll come back to the arm. All right, okay, to join, I'm going to be using the sewing method. Okay, so I'm using my tapestry needle now to sew together. All right, so when you want to join it together, is the color that you are using on top, that is what you are going to be joining together. So now my own is obviously white color, so I'm going to be joining with the white color. So I already have a long strand here when I finish my work, and I know that a sewing is going to be taking place. I always like to leave out a very long tail. Okay, so if you do not have that, all you just need to do, just take a strand from your yarn and just insert it in your needle, just like this. But that is if you are using this method. But if you are going for the slip stitches or single crochet method, that is still okay as well. All right, but me, this is the method I'm following. All right, so what you're going to do now is pick the very 3rd chain stitch here at the end here and go in with your tapestry needle to join both sides together. Okay, and then the next, now you are going to be taking the next stitch on this part, the very first stitch here. Okay, and then come back here again, and on the next stitch you take it just like that, and the next stitch you go in with your tapestry needle, and just like that you are going to be sewing it like that until you get to your stitch marker here. All right, so just be going into each of the stitches, taking it from the bottom. Just watch what I'm doing, please. So be taking the stitches from the bottom just like this. Okay, and make sure they align together. The two clusters on both sides must align together just like this. As you can see, I'm following the stitches one after the other. So that is what you continue doing to join until you get to this stitch marker. All right, you do that on this shoulder and do that for the other shoulder. I'll go off camera now and go do mine, and when I'm done, I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. All right. All right, so I'm done joining the shoulders together. So this is how the joining is looking. Can you see how seamless it looks? Now we are going to be going to the arm area. All right, so the measurement you need for here is going to be around your arm. All right, so around my arm is 18, so I'm just going to measure out 9 here on this part. Okay, so this is what the 9 is giving me. So I'm going to be putting the stitch marker now on the middle of this 5 I made here. Okay, so now my own is easy to navigate because of the color patterns that I use here. I'm just going to put a stitch marker where the 9 ended, which is this part. And it happens to be the very middle of the 5 whites that we have here. All right, so you go ahead now to do your own measurement and get it out. Now this whole round arm now is going to be 18 inches because 9 from here and 9 from here, the whole circle now is going to be 18 inches. So do it in both the arms, and I'll come back to show you how we are going to be joining the sides. All right, so let's get into that. Okay, so to join the sides together, you are going to be turning the gown now inside out, because this particular one we are going to be using slip stitches and chains to join the sides together. So we do not want that thing to be showing in front, so you need to turn it inside out. Okay, so you are going to get a strand from your yarn. All right, and then you are going to make a slip knot and attach your yarn on the very first stitch right here. Okay, and make sure it's the color that you use to make these parts that you are using to join. All right, like now mine is going to be a lot of work because I use different colors. If it is this color, I'll have to switch to this color. If it is this color, I'll have to switch to this color. So that is exactly what I'm going to be doing to join the sides. Okay, so let's get into joining the sides together. So you go into this first stitch here now, then take the other side of the gown and go into the very first stitch on the other side there too, and then insert your yarn and pull it through the 2 stitches and make a chain 1, okay, to join them together just like that. So now on that same stitch, you are going to go in there with a single crochet on that very first stitch that you join the 2 sides with. Okay, so go in there with a single crochet just to hold that down. Then now on this particular stitch, please just watch what I'm doing. Okay, on this first stitch now where you do the first double crochet, you are going to go into that stitch on the 2 sides. Make sure you are taking the other side as well because we're joining together. Okay, and you are going to make a slip stitch on this one. Okay, so make a slip stitch, and then you are going to chain up 2, and make sure your chains are loose. Don't make it too tight. All right, so chain up 2, 1, and 2. And then you are going to go into the next stitch here, and you are going to take this part and this part and make a slip stitch just like that. Okay, so that is what you are going to be doing. All right, so you are going to chain up 2 again and go to the next stitch right here and take this part and take the other part and make a slip knot. Chain up 2 again and make a slip stitch. I've been calling it slip knot, a slip stitch. All right, make a slip stitch on here. You see, that's why I told you to always watch what I'm doing, so that when I'm not calling the right words, you understand what I'm talking about. All right, so that is exactly what you are going to be doing to join. Okay, so this is how it's going to be coming out. This is how the back is going to look. Let me show you the front. So the front is going to just blend in with our normal double crochets we did earlier. All right, so you go ahead now to join your 2 sides just like this. When you get to where the other color is, like on my own part now is going to be blue, I'm going to change into a blue yarn and do exactly the same thing that I've been doing here. I'm going off camera now to do mine, and I'll come back to show you when I'm done, and I'll tell you what we're going to be doing next. All right, okay, so I'm done joining the 2 panels together. This is the front. As you can see, it all blended together like nothing happened. So the next step now is going to be working on the arm area. All right, so let us get to that one. Okay, so to start on the arm now, you are going to insert your yarn on the underarm parts. You know where you joined it, where you ended joining it. That is where you're going to insert your yarn. So this time around, I'm going to be working single crochet with this white yarn. Okay, so you know I told you, I said I want the white to be the base of the color. So since I added the whites on the neck area here, that is what I'm going to be using around the arm now. Okay, so now we are going to be starting with a single crochet, and like I said, you insert the yarn at the very end here, and then you chain up 1. Okay, and then on the next stitch you're going to go in there with a single crochet, and then you see this place now, this chain 3 we did when we're creating the body of the dress. You're going to be going in there with 2 single crochet. Then you go to the next one again and put in 2 single crochet, just like this. And to the next one right here, you are going to put in 2 single crochet. And to the next space right here, you're going to put in 2 single crochet. So this is what you're going to be doing all around this arm now. For the row 1, you're going to put in 2 single crochet on each of the spaces until you get to this part where you started from. And when I get here, I'll come back to show you what you're going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm done putting in the single crochet. So now for the next row, we are going to be doing a double crochet. So I'll just slip stitch here on the very first stitch we made now to end the row 1. So for the row 2, you're going to chain up 2. And on that same stitch, you're going to go in with a double crochet. And on the next stitch, you're going to go in with a double crochet. And on the next, you're going to go in with a double crochet. So basically, on the row 2, you're just going to be putting in double crochet. So 1 double crochet to a stitch until you get to this part. And when I get here, I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so now I'm done putting in the double crochet. So now we are done with the row 2. I'm just going to make a slip stitch here where we started from to end this row. So for the row 3 now, I'm going to be removing this yarn. I'm going to cut this yarn off because I want to use the 4 yarn to do the arm. But if you do not have a 4 yarn, this is actually optional. You do not have to go with this one. So if you do not have this one, you can continue putting in another single crochet with the yarn you've been using before. So we are supposed to end now with a single crochet, but I want to use this one as my aesthetic to complete my own. All right, so if you want to use the 4 yarn as well, all you have to do now is attach your 4 yarn now on this part we just ended. So you attach your 4 yarn here, and you're going to chain up 1. And like I said before, this 4 yarn is actually optional. You can continue using the normal yarn you've been using before. The last step here now is just to put a single crochet all around, and you'll be done with the arm of the dress. Okay, so you chain up 1, and on the next stitch you're going to go in with a single crochet, and then you are going to skip 1 stitch, and on the next you're going to go in with a single crochet. Well, that's for the people using the 4 yarn. If you are using your regular yarn you've been using before, you are just going to be doing 1 single crochet on each of the stitches. But if you are using the 4 yarn, like I said, you are going to be skipping 1 stitch and going into the next with a single crochet. All right, so skip 1 stitch and go into the next with a single crochet. Skip 1 stitch and go into the next with a single crochet. So on this row, this is basically what you are going to do to complete the arm. So I'm going to go off camera now and complete mine, and I'll come back to show you and tell you what we are going to be doing next. Okay, all right, so I'm done putting in the last row for the arm. You see how beautiful it looks? All right, so you go ahead now to create exactly the same thing you did here on the other hand. Okay, so make sure it's exactly what you did here that you do on the other place, because you do not want one side to be bigger than the other or longer. All right, so I'm going to go off camera now to do mine, and when I'm done, I'll come back to show you what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm done with the hands now. So this is how it's looking. My table is not big enough to show you like this. So this can work. All right, so the next step now is going to be the neck area. So let us get into that one. All right, okay, so for this neck area now, what I'm about to do here now, it's actually optional. The dress is ready, but I don't want it to be too open, so I just want to put like a single crochet all across just to make it firmer. So if you know you want your own just like this, you can actually stop here. You don't have to do this particular one I want to do. I might even end up putting this 4 yarn on the neck for my aesthetic. You never can tell, but like I said, it is optional, so it's up to you if you want to follow this particular one or just end your dress right here. All right, ignore the sound in the background. It is raining cat and dog outside. All right, so just insert your yarn anywhere on the neck area, and then you are going to make a chain. Just chain up 1, and then on the next stitch now you are going to go in with a single crochet, and on the next stitch you're going to go in with a single crochet, and on the next stitch you're going in with a single crochet. So just because we want this our circular shape to show, we are going to be going in this part now where the space is, the stitch on top. We are going to go in there with a slip stitch because we want to maintain our half circular aesthetic. All right, so on the next stitch now you are going to go in with a single crochet, that's 2, single crochet, that's 3, single crochet, that's 4, Then on the 5th stitch you are going to go in with a slip stitch, and then another 4 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then you make a slip stitch. All right, so that is exactly what you are going to be doing for the neck. All right, so you're going to put in 4 single crochets and 1 slip stitch. So that's 1, and that's 2, and that's 3, and that's 4, and then you are going to go in with 1 slip stitch. Okay, so that is what you are going to be doing. So as you can see now, it still maintains the cluster kind of shape, this half circular stuff. I don't know how to call it but I believe you understand what I'm trying to say. All right, so if you see it now, you see how firm it looks. It's not as wobbly as this back side. So this is the part we've made, and you see how firm it looks. So you go ahead now to do exactly that all across, and I'll meet you here to tell you what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm done putting in the single crochets and the slip stitch all around the neck. So this is how it's looking. Can you see how firm it looks? So this is it now. It's not as wobbly as it was before. So this is how I like it. And I said I was going to be putting this 4 yarn on the neck before now, but no, I'm not going to be putting it. I don't want the neck to be too busy, so I'm just going to leave it like this. I like it the way it is, like this. All right, so but it is your choice. If you like the 4 yarn to be on the neck parts, please do so. All right, just make the dress your own. All right, I've shown you the basics, so you turn it into what you want it to be. It can also be a long gown. You can decide to make it a long sleeve. You can decide to make it to a top. So it's up to you to actually play with your own. All right, but for me, this has brought me to the end of today's tutorial. If you enjoy watching this video as much as I enjoy making it, please like the video. All right, and if you've not subscribed to my channel before now, please do so, and share this video to people that want to make something as beautiful as this. All right, and if you have any questions about this particular project, feel free to drop it on the comment section, and I will be happy to help. And make sure you click on that little notification bell below, so when I post any tutorial just like this, you won't miss out. All right, so until next time.